Welcome. I'm Dr. Devin Beasley. I'm the Director of Clinical Fieldwork for the University of La Verne, and this presentation is to provide an overview of the second semester requirements and expectations for clinical fieldwork. And there are three key people who are involved in the fieldwork process for the second semester. This includes the student themselves or the candidate, the university supervisor, and the school site supervisor or teacher. And this video is meant to keep all three people informed and aware of the requirements and expectations for second semester fieldwork. Because here at the University of La Verne, we do believe in the co-teaching model, and we want our candidates to be involved in working with small groups or individual students as early as possible and as much as possible. We're teaching candidates to be reflective practitioners and encourage them to be open to any feedback from the school site supervisor and the university supervisor. We also encourage our candidates to become substitute teachers in their district because we know this gives them some valuable experience and allows them to become more familiar and connected to the school site. So here's an overview of the classes that candidates will be taking this semester. The first class is Education 440 and Education 442. 440 is for multiple subject candidates and 442 is for single subject candidates. And this course is Intermediate Teaching Practices. And these courses move forward from the first semester as candidates learn more about culturally responsive pedagogy, meeting the needs of diverse learners, and developing more advanced or detailed lesson plans and units. And there are 20 hours of fieldwork required for this course. Now, something important to note: multiple subject candidates will need to be in a 4th through 6th grade classroom for their 20 hours of fieldwork for this class. This is a state requirement and we do not have any flexibility with this. So if you're currently teaching in a K through 3rd grade classroom, you will need to request leave time or maybe request a substitute so you can complete your 20 hours of fieldwork in an upper grade level classroom. Be sure to communicate this requirement and expectation with your administration so they're also aware. If you don't have your own class, but you're completing your fieldwork in a K through 3rd grade placement, talk to your K through 3rd grade teacher and see if they can recommend an upper grade teacher for you. You can still work with your K through 3rd grade teacher for your other class, but for this course, you will need to be in an upper grade classroom. The other classes that are taken during the second semester include Education 441 for multiple subject and Education 443 for single subject. This is Advanced Teaching Practices. And here, candidates are developing and learning how to be a reflective practitioner and also learning more about how to incorporate technology and preparing a unit consisting of at least 5 lessons. 3 of these lessons will be taught in the fieldwork classroom, and there are 10 hours of fieldwork required for this class. So lessons taught. For Education 440 and 442, there are 20 hours of clinical fieldwork, like I mentioned before. And for this class, there are 2 candidate-directed lessons taught, but only one of those lessons will be observed by your university supervisor. And as a reminder to candidates, you will need to email your supervisor your lesson plan at least 24 hours before your scheduled observation. Going into the observation, your supervisor will need to review your lesson plan so they're familiar with what you plan to teach. For 441 and 443, as I mentioned before, there are 10 hours of clinical fieldwork, and then there are 3 candidate-directed lessons. 2 of these lessons are observed by your university supervisor. One of those will be a cooperative group lesson, and another will be an inquiry lesson. In addition to these, you'll be developing a direct instruction lesson, but your university supervisor will not need to observe that lesson. So in summary, the fieldwork for second semester includes 30 total hours of fieldwork and 5 lessons taught. 3 of those lessons are observed by your university supervisor. And this is the traditional route in the program. If you're going out of order candidates, or if you're not taking both classes, this summary may not apply to you. At the University of La Verne, we believe in the clinical model. As much as possible, we'd like our students to remain in the same placement throughout their fieldwork experience and into student teaching. This way, by the time the candidates get to student teaching, they're comfortable with the school site, they're comfortable with the supervisors and many teacher expectations as well. They're more likely to jump right in and get started sooner with student teaching requirements. And we do know that things change, things happen. There may be different requirements, or it just may not be a good fit for everyone. So we do reevaluate if the placements are a good fit for everyone involved. All clinical teaching forms are located on the clinical teaching webpage. Your course instructor may have a link to this in your Blackboard course. You can also ask your university supervisor, who should also be able to provide a link to all of the forms as well. If you're the teacher, the school site supervisor, you will not need to complete any forms for the second semester candidates. At the end of the semester, the university supervisor will complete a final evaluation, and they'll likely reach out to you to get your input on that, but you will not need to complete any forms. So candidates, just as a reminder, a big part of being in the field is being a professional. As you know, we stress this in all of our classes. So school site supervisors and teachers, we want you to know that professionalism is extremely important to us. If you have any questions or concerns on a candidate's professionalism, please feel free to reach out to us. One of the big things that makes the University of La Verne a great place and contributes to our positive reputation is the fact that we stress professionalism throughout our program, and we thank our candidates for that. I also want to thank the university supervisors as well as the school site supervisors for your continued support of our candidates, helping them to develop and learn as professionals.